screen. There we go. So everyone should be able to see my screen there. All right. So once we go to that website that I posted here, let me go ahead and log out so you can see what the little login screen looks like. This is what it looks like, the login. If you have I know you've been using the thick client, that's been the problematic one where the license getting eaten up and all that. So if you've been using that, you can use the same credentials to log into this portal. It pulls all the data from the same source. So if you had those logins, we can do that. If not, we can also reset passwords if anyone needs that. So you're gonna go ahead and put in your logins here. You're gonna log in and you get brought into this screen here. This you can kind of edit. Yours might show a couple more tiles. Most of them aren't used, so I removed them just to make it easier. Typically you'll see a bunch of different ones you can add, and I wouldn't really mess with that. If anything, these are the three, although reports currently isn't working. Once that gets updated, you can go ahead and run the reports. But right now, if we click on that, unfortunately, it's not running. So really can't show that to you. The other two is the monitoring and the credentials. So we'll kind of go ahead and focus on those two. Credentials probably being the most important one here, as that's where we add and remove access. So let's go ahead and click on that tile. That will bring us to the credential page here. And this is where you would add the card holders. So we'll go ahead and start off by going over the process of adding a new card holder. So if you click on new card holder here on the top right, you'll get a blank profile screen. You'll see the only required field is the last name, but we'll go ahead and fill out the other optional fields. I know right here we have the company list, so we want to add the company that the card holder belongs to. You can type it in and it'll kind of filter, or else you can just kind of scroll through it as well. And we got the building list here. So go ahead and select whichever building. And then all the other fields here are optional if you want to add card information, phone numbers. Typically, from what I've seen, these are the four fields that have been generally filled in. And then we can go ahead next to adding the badge, which is down here. You'll see the badge ribbon here. As we click on that, it opens up. And then we click on the add new badge button here on the right. Then we're opened up here to the badge screen. So we can type in the type of badge. There's different types of badges already in the system. If typically I've seen employee badges or visitor badges, you can kind of type it in again to pull up a filter. And under IDs, where we add the actual card number, you can add the card number there, and it'll show us here the status is active. We can punch in start and end dates here if we wanted to. Default is 5 years, but if we click on that, you'll see you get a little calendar pop up, and then you can adjust it as you need it to, and then hit set. And then that'll bring us here with the new expiration date. After that, we can hit apply. And this will save our profile. You can see it up here with the green save button. And now we have a card for this card holder. However, we still need to give it access. So if we come to the access levels, that'll open up here. And then under assign access levels button is where we give it the access to the various areas. So right here, we have the list for this site. We can click on it and it'll open up showing us, which readers are part of that and what time zones they belong to. If we hit the little check there and then hit the right button, it kind of moves it over to the assigned levels. And we can issue multiple at a time. They'll throw them all up over here. If we made a mistake, we really didn't want this one, you can always remove it by hitting the left arrow. And once we're ready, we know, okay, this is what we want to issue. We hit apply. Then we got to hit this save button. If the save button's blue, that means you had some changes and it hasn't been saved. So we need to hit that. And then we get the green save button, it'll kind of gray out, showing us that, we're completely saved. We haven't made any changes. So now this card holder is ready to go. Their card is active and they have access to these access levels. If we hit back here under the card holder on the left, it'll bring us back out. And we have different filters that we can look here. We can type in whatever words we want there. We can hit the little X to clear that. It'll show us the whole list. And then if the little glass here, the what's it called? Magnifying glass here, click on that, we can add additional filters. So if we wanted to search by company, we can do that. Click add filter. Then we can select company list. And then we have the drop down again. We can type it in and then hit that. And then now it's kind of filtered there. We can just click out and then we'll see all the card holders that belong to that company. You can clear the filters with the clear all here. So in mine, I want to find my user. Again, click on it. You can go back into the profile. So if we wanted to edit, we can edit any of the fields, change the name, change the building, company list, all that stuff. If we wanted to remove the badge, we can remove the badge as well. If we click on the badge there, then we have different actions here. We can do delete or print. So we hit delete and they'll remove the badge. You can also add a second badge. If we hit new badge, let's say, there's a parking badge or something. So we want to add a second badge. Type it in there. And then if you want to give it the same access, you can always select here, copy from badge. And then you can select the badge we're going to copy, which is his previous badge. If we left it with no access, hit apply. We'll see, if we click on the previous badge, you'll see which access levels are issued here. It says 2 and it shows us. This one has no access. So this badge is still, it's active in the system, but it's not going to give us access to anything. So we can always assign levels here by clicking it there. It brings us to the assigned levels here. So we hit assign access level, and then we can assign. So if we wanted to assign different access levels, we can do that as well, depending on the badge they have. So now this card holder has 2 badges. We can see them here. There's one. Here's the other one. You'll see they have different access levels. So typically, when someone has multiple badges, they'll have the exact same access level. So hitting that little button to copy from the previous badge is pretty helpful. But let's say this person is no longer in the building. They're no longer with the tenant. We can go ahead and remove their badges as well. So we can highlight individual badges, hit actions, delete, then hit save, and that'll remove the badge. So currently they have 1 badge. So let's say we just want to remove access. We can do the same thing here. Let's say we just want to give them lobby doors, remove first, second floors. We can click that, and then we can go to either to actions and unassign it, or we can also go into the access levels and unassign it from here. Just hit that and hit apply. But it's a lot easier just to click here and unassign. And we got to save. And now we can go ahead and remove the badge as well. So click there, delete, save. So now this card holder is essentially inactive in the system. So if they're no longer in the building, no longer want to have access, we remove their badge and their access levels. Although removing the badge will remove the access levels as well. So it's just easier to come to badge and remove what's there. And let's go ahead and remove the filter. And any questions so far in removing, editing a card holder?
Okay. No.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy, pretty intuitive. So if we ever wanted to go back to our little tile menu here, it's up here, this little waffle menu, the little squares here, click on that. That brings us back to our main menu. So if we wanted to go check the monitoring section, we can click here. And this is where we see like the alarms for this for the site. So you'll see where granted access is given. Like here we can see door forced open. So you'll see all that here. And you can kind of use the different options here. So if you only want to see card swipes, click on the badge only, and you'll see only the card swipes. If you want to see just like the doors being forced open or system events, it's on the non-badge here. So you'll see those here.
Eduardo?
Yes.
This is John from Kilroy. Just quick question on these reports. Are these reports that can be PDF'd and printed or saved?
Unfortunately, these aren't. Those would typically be on the report section that's currently not functioning on the web UI. So these are just visual here on the website.
I see. And so for the,
So then,
that's definitely a hot topic for Kilroy. Do you know when the reports section will be activated and live?
That I don't know. When we spoke to Lenel, they were saying that we needed an update to 8.1. We're currently on 8.0, and that requires all the sites here on the enterprise system to get updated. So we'd have to kind of coordinate that probably with Byron and his team, and get that taken care of. But
hey, Eddie,
as far as yes.
In the meantime, if they absolutely needed a report, can't we just use the thick client?
Yeah. So I was going to say that you can do the thick client, or we can also run reports for them if they send us a request through the help desk. I know for other Kilroy sites, that's what we do for them because they don't have access to a click. The thick client, not all the sites do.
Right. But, so I think we had some issues with the thick client, platform, which is why I think several of us weren't able to do that. But one of the key reasons that we wanted to create these region power users for Lenel was so that we could specifically, print, provide reports and things to our on-site teams. So it doesn't need to be on this call right now, but at some point I would like to understand how, whether it's through Thick or through Lenel, we can run reports ourselves, because that's a really crucial part of what we need this for.
Sure thing. And if you like, I can actually kind of cover the thick client. I know that the issue is the limited seat licenses. So that's been problematic. I know that. But yeah, after we kind of go over this here, we can definitely, extend it to that if you'd like. I can kind of show you how those are run on the thick client. All right. So yeah, this is just like what is considered called alarm monitoring. So we see all the alarms here, and if we come back to badges, we can also do a trace on the people, so we can see where their activity has been. So if we click on Ria here, you'll see it load, so it shows her last activities here. So you can kind of have a little trace there. Unfortunately, like I said, it's just kind of at the moment. As soon as you log out and log back in, this kind of resets. So no real printing of reports here. The other option here is the hardware tree, which unfortunately has some issues as well. So right here, you can kind of get an overview on the status of your doors. You can see what mode they're currently set to, card only or unlocked. If we come to these little arrows, we get options here to where you can send it a pulse command to open a door, or change the reader mode from locked or from card only to unlocked. So if you need it unlocked, the problem with this again, it requires that update to 8.1. So if we hit open door, it's like giving us no feedback, and we're getting errors on the back end. So I know Lenel, this is kind of like a work in progress with this web UI. It's fairly recent to their platform, and they're adding new features as we're going. But this is a nice feature if, once we get it up and running, where you can kind of grant access and lock and unlock doors. I know a lot of times there might be some construction or something going on and you want to unlock a door. This is where you would do it through. But again,
sorry, this is John again.
Yes.
So this is also another really important function that we'd like to be able to have for the people on this call to be able to do.
Yeah.
And so without reaching out to Lenel or Olivier, so my question is this also something, so you had mentioned the reporting could be done through Thick. Is this also something that could be done through the Thick platform?
Yep. And let's go ahead and jump over to that Thick platform, because essentially that's the WebUI here. So unless anyone has any kind of questions on this portion, I can try to bring up that Thick client here for you.
Well, Eddie, I think the main thing was for security, because when I was down there last time, were backed up with a lot of badges. So if Kamara, your team is okay, I think we can move on to the Thick client portion. But do you have any questions on how to add badges so you can get some of those back orders out of the way?
No, we don't have any questions. It's just the step, how he just went through everything. It looks completely different on our end.
Correct. You have the portal access now.
Yeah,
it should be in the chat.
Yeah, the one you would do it, you're probably doing it through here.
Yes.
This probably looks more familiar, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so instead of doing it through here, you're going to do it through that web portal. So that'll prevent any of the issues where licenses are eating up and you can't log into this. So you can log into that from any web browser, and it does essentially the same thing that this does.
Okay, so with this computer that we're using not having internet, how do we get to that portal on here?
Yeah, you definitely need a computer with a internet access, or not necessarily internet access. Is it? No, it is, because that's through a domain name.
I think it's going to be a portal issue, since that machine was placed on a network that I believe has internet access, because I think we can remote into that site. And if not, Kamara, your PC at your desk and the lady, I always forget her name, but the lady that sits across from you. They both your PCs have Gloria. There we go. Both of those computers have internet access, and you can log in anywhere that has internet access. So she can do it from the comfort of her desk instead of switching over to the other PC.
Okay. And you guys are gonna send out
the portal link?
You said the portal link?
Correct. I think Eddie said you placed it in the chat, didn't you?
Yeah, it's in the chat. I put it in the chat.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So currently, to lock and unlock a door, it would be done through here, alarm monitoring. So you should have that on their computer with a Thick client, and it should kind of load up to this system tree and then the alarms here on this other side. So both of these are on the web, unfortunately not functional. But if we see here, let's say we got this East lobby door, we see the status shows unlocked. Then you can see the status for the other ones, card only unlocked. So if we wanted to, let's say Hall to Patio, we wanted to have that unlocked, we can right click. Then under reader access modes, you would put it to unlock. And then the one thing is, if you wanted to, let's say, lock this door, the East lobby, what we'd want to do is put it to card only. A lot of times we see locked and unlocked, and we want to do that. If we put it to lock, it's going to completely disable that. So we don't want to do that. It's card only or unlock, the typical ones we're going to use. Card only or unlock. So if you want it locked, it's card only, and then unlock is free access. So that's when you would do that. If you wanted to pulse it to let someone in, you just hit open doors and it opens up for the predefined time. It's about 5 seconds typically, something like that. And And that's where you would do it, through alarm monitoring. And you can open up, you have the 2 panels here that are online. You can open those up and you'll see all the readers that belong to each one. And then you can just right click, and then you would go reader access modes and change it to unlock or card only if you wanted to do that. Any questions on unlocking and locking doors on this thick client?
So, Eduardo, and we could do this offline, but I'm not sure how you're accessing thick. The only access I was given was the sign-on page says Kilroy remote access, which obviously is something different from this. So I'll follow along, but I don't know that Erica and I have the same access that you're looking at.
Yeah, you guys don't. The thick client was placed on the PC only in the security room. So Kamar's team they were originally trained with the thick client, but because there were some seat issues that Eddie had mentioned earlier today, that they would go to log in sometimes to create a badge, and then somebody had taken that seat and they were doing something else in the system, since there was only so many users allotted for Kilroy. So, which is why Byron wanted to go to this web user interface, since there's unlimited seats and anybody can get in as long as you have a password. So that thick client was just local to the PC, if that makes sense.
I see. So that has nothing to do with us then in Los Angeles.
No,
Got it. Okay. So then the other site, the OnGuard site, which I don't know that we've been set up with access to, but in either case, even if we get access, until the update is done to version 8.1, we wouldn't be able to do the 2 critical functions of running reports and the hardware tree, sorry.
Right.
So,
until what Eddie mentioned, until 8.1 is updated, but because you guys are so large and you have multiple panels and multiple regions and segments, just doing an upgrade to 1 is going to have to like replicate to all the different panels for it to operate on one single platform properly.
okay, so all right, so I don't, and is that something that Byron is aware of?
Yeah, he should be aware of that. He should be aware of that. We can definitely kind of engage him again, because it's been a while since we last talked about that. I know some of the holdup we were kind of waiting on bringing like your site on into the enterprise. So we had a couple of sites. We had San Francisco. We wanted to bring on board before even doing that, just because they all had to kind of get updated. So now that those are on board, I believe the process would just kind of needs to get coordinated with Byron and our side. So we definitely can re-engage him, because it's been a bit.
I see. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then I think the rest of this training is probably very specific to the setup for San Diego.
Yeah. This would be for that.
Got it. Okay. If that's the case, I'm going to drop off, because I don't want to take up the time for San Diego's team with questions that are unrelated for LA. And Erica, if you feel you the same, that's fine. Otherwise, Eduardo, let's set up a time that we can discuss the LA region separately with Byron.
Okay, sure thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you all. Appreciate the time.
Okay.
Sorry for all
Bye.
the questions.
All right, so let's go ahead and just end this here with the reports really quick. A couple ways to run reports. If you come to administration, then you got reports here. And right here you can do these are the top one, access denial and grants. And if you ran that here, unfortunately, there is no well, actually, I'm gonna get the wrong one. I'm sorry. Here we go. Access denial, it's under the reader reports tab. So we got access denials and grants. We can select which readers we want by clicking on it, and you'll get a little check mark. If we unselect all, you'll see here it's going to give us for all of the readers. So we can filter by reader or just do all of them. You can apply the date and time you want here, the report for, and you can click on the time as well. There we go. And then you can adjust that. So it kind of defaults to midnight to 12:59. So we'll go ahead and leave the defaults. And then if you hit preview, and let me do a smaller range. We can do a little quick preview of what the report's going to show us. This is all your activity. Actually, it's this bottom one, the second one here. And here's the report. So I didn't filter. This just kind of pulls it for all of it. So the best way to really do it, go ahead and scratch this one. If we come to card holder, so if we come here to the card holder one, get a search, and then just hit OK. It'll kind of pull everyone in the system. Then we'll see a reports tab here all the way to the far right. And right here, we can kind of filter a little bit better. So we wanted to do it just by last name. We hit print and it'll give us everyone by last name. If we wanted to, for instance, let's come back to the search. If we add any filters here, so if I add a filter here or any here, it'll kind of limit it by that. So let's go ahead and remove this filter and this and this. Let's add this one. And then now we'd hit OK. Then we'll have a smaller list here, 500. So if we hit reports, scroll all the way up. Then we can select this first one, access denial, hit print. And we'll have a little window pop up with the time. So we can click the little calendar, set the time here that we wanted. We'll go ahead and do midnight. And then end time, it's kind of defaults to whatever time it is now. So let's hit OK, hit OK. So for midnight, we need 00, we hit OK. Add the end time. Okay. That'll give us a report. And it gives us an option. Do we want to export it to a file? Do you want to preview it in the window? So we'll just go ahead and preview it here. And here's a report for the building. You click on it, you'll see here all the granted access. And then we have a little export report here. Then we can select the different file types, PDFs, CSVs. Typically, the CSV is the most filterable one. If we did a PDF or an Excel, it'll essentially look like this, like this one here. It just kind of makes it a little difficult to kind of filter. So I'd recommend the CSV. So that's how you can kind of run an activity report. Again, let me repeat that. You come to card holders, throw in a filter, put in whatever building you're looking for. First you hit search and then you add the building. And hit OK, and then we can kind of come to the reports back here. And then there's different reports here you can run. You can do card holder reports. So if we want to do a card holder report for a tenant, hit the search, and then we can do it by company. So Olivier, let's do ours. Hit OK. And then we come to reports. Then we can scroll down and you'll go to card holder. Here we go. So we got card holder, reports by last name. Then we hit print. And again, we'll do the preview. And then you got the card holder report here. So it'll tell you how many card holders, their status, and all that information, what card number they have. Then this one you can print out if you did the export. And then just change it to whatever type you wanted. You can go straight to the file type if we just kind of hit print and then hit export directly to file. So hit that, OK, and then we can select here. Again, I recommend the CSV, hit OK, and hit OK again. Then you can give it a name, and it'll save it to wherever you have it defaulted here. You can choose a different folder, and that'll save that CSV file for you. And I know those are the typical reports. There are different types of reports here that you can kind of look through here. But the two typical ones are the card holders and the activity reports. So I wouldn't recommend necessarily using the one under administration. I'd recommend just going to card holders and adding filters, because that'll allow you to fine tune whatever your report needs to be. And that's how you would run a report. So I don't know if anyone has any questions on this one. If not, I mean, that's essentially the system there. So we add card holders through the web UI. It's going to be a lot nicer there, just because you don't have to fight for the seat licenses. And if you did need to run a report, you would have to have access to the client, or you can even send us a request and we can run it for you. Yeah, so if there's no other questions, this is essentially the training, and we can get back to our day.
No,
Hey, Eddie,
thank you.
Hey Eddie, is there a cut sheet or a document we can email out that's just like a basic how-to guide?
I don't know that we have one. I could probably throw something together.
From the knowledge base portal, I think there might have been a download. If there's something there, can you just push it out to everybody on the email list?
Yep.
And will this recording be sent to us as well?
Yes. We just need to get it uploaded and shared to your organization. I know that takes a little bit, so I need to reach out to our IT team here to get that sorted. And then everyone that's in the meeting here, we'll go ahead and add you to that list here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks, Eddie.